Good evening, good afternoon, whoever you find yourself in this weird, wild, wacky world of ours, and welcome to the exciting installment of Darkness in Dublin. This evening's scene is going to take place in the Gaiety Theatre, the Elysium of the city of Dublin. It is going to take place more aptly in the bar of the Gaiety Theatre, which is a relatively ostentatious, opulent purveyor of alcoholic beverages, more so catering towards the creme de la creme of the individuals who would visit the theatre on a nightly basis to serve them half-time drinks, etc., or indeed just inebriate them before the next terrible production of Don Juan's Carmen, because God knows you'd need inebriation to deal with that. So, we have a collection of three kindred who will be in the bar. There are more than likely other individuals who are, shall we say, maneuvering and walking in and out or around the building. So you are by no means the only three individuals in the building proper, but the camera is focused on you. There you go. That's how life works.
I don't know about you guys, but this taco is gorgeous.
Is it bad that I don't know if that's in character or not?
I am actually eating a taco, but in character, I will also eat a taco.
in the fucking high class bar. Fucking.
I like the picture that he's actually just brought like a takeout bag into. Yep, that's canon now.
So, I see you are the doctor of whom we met before. I didn't get to talk too much before, werewolves and demons and things. How have you been?
I've been well. Yes, we didn't get much time to talk. It's difficult to talk when situations like that occur. But I'm glad to see that you are well.
Well, I had a unique experience after that. As a matter of fact,
perhaps you'll invite me sometime.
Yes, I plan to. I'm gonna sort of shoot eyes over at Ryan because I know he too had something happen and we're interlinked and shit.
Are you just giving me daggers at the moment? Be like, what happened?
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. I'm a bit high strung at the moment. I point over. I'm just like, well, you appear to have a piece of taco in your beard.
I can't help it if the beef likes it.
Yeah.
The door at this point will swing open. As the Senator's really quite short. He's only about 5'3". He is masked and swathed in the black overcoat that he wears at all times with the hood up. And he will have with him another individual who was kind of tagging along in his wake, is probably the best way of phrasing it. The masked face kind of scans left and scans right before he will walk towards the gathering grouping and he will say, yes. Mr. Formeau, may I borrow you for a moment?
Absolutely.
Thank you. He will gesture for you to come over, at which point he will say, allow me to do formal introductions in that case. Ryan Formeau, allow me to introduce you to the newest arrival in the city, one Mr. Deimos.
Mr. Formeau, a pleasure to meet you.
A pleasure. I hold out my hand.
I offer my hand and I say, starting, I would like to say that while my family usurped your name, I believe there are more things that are connecting us than separating us.
What family might that be, might I inquire?
Well, first of all, you notice that the irises in his eyes are completely black, and he's extremely pale.
My ears twitch.
Ideally, sir, tonight I would be back home in my bookstore doing my research.
As would I, but my feeding proclivities forbid me from perusing local stocks, as it were.
And Mr. Hennessy also mentioned that we share another fascination. A
Do
study
tell.
of the other side.
Ah, I see you're not only a scholar, but also a study of necromancy.
I'm afraid this is the reason why I find myself in Dublin. You see, it's a trait I inherited from my sire, but it did not bode him well.
Yes, I wouldn't imagine it makes you much friends.
Indeed. And I understand Dublin is not a home to this kind of people that I'm implying.
Oh no, I'm sure that anybody you might find lack the skills and capabilities to track us down, as it were.
So, are we alone? Is the seneschal with us?
Sorry. Seneschal is kind of, he's not directly interrupting the conversation per se. Is he earshot? Probably, but he's letting you two talk, definitely.
So, Mr. Fomo, I understand there is a high-ranking member of the Giovanni in Dublin.
Yes, apparently we are supposed to be meeting with them at some point regarding a certain company, Pentex, I believe it was, as I like gesture to the seneschal.
Yes, well, more aptly a subsidiary of the Pentex Corporation. Well, you see, he kind of raises a finger for a moment as he takes a phone out of the folds of his robe, and you just see him flick down the phone. And he says, "Ah, yes, the McReardon Holdings Company, the McReardon's Financial Holdings Company, to be exact."
If my recollection serves me correct, I believe that a founding member of the Pentex Corporation was in fact a Giovanni. God rest his soul.
And they currently also have a member of the seat of They currently also have a member who is on the seat of directors, the board of directors of Pentex. So they may be able to lend light onto some interesting questions.
Well, sir, I have one question. Has this common fascination about the other side ever been the cause of conflict between you?
As a result of my, shall we say, freak creation, I have no serious allegiance to a clan or bloodline, and as a result, I'm so obscure that I don't think, honestly, the Giovanni or any of the accompanying families would ever have the inclination to hunt me down. A waste of resources, as it were.
That's very reassuring.
However, Hennessy will say from where he's leaning, as both of you have become or have taken on the auspices of the Camarilla, you are both bound by the promise of 1528. And I very much doubt that Giovanni would seek to damage the integrity of the promise over something as simple as, well...
Petty rivalries?
Indeed. They tend to keep to the bargain, we keep to our side, they keep to theirs. Everyone lives or on-lives a longer, happier existence. He will kind of hike himself up from where he was kneeling, or where he was leaning, and he will say, "If you will excuse me, gentlemen, I have other business to see to this evening."
Certainly, sir. And Demos will take a bow as well and allow Mr. Pomo to go wherever he wishes.
Oh, one moment, Dr. Fletcher.
Yes.
He will turn. He turns the masked head and he looks at him and he says, "My apologies. I was meaning to read your report because you did blue book me some roles, didn't you?"
Yes, I did.
Okay. I will tell you now what was in those roles, and I will also I will also tell you, I'll blue book it as well for you, just so you have a record of it, because I'd completely forgotten about that. I'm not going to lie. Your research into the blood when you were examining it showed the fact that the blood had been genetically altered to the fact that the blood that you were examining was taken from an individual who was entirely without hemoglobin. Not that it was removed, that it didn't exist, and the blood was oxygenating in a different way, and you've never seen anything like it.
Connor is the concerned meme right now.
Yes. I was curious. What did you find in the report that you sent to me?
It was... Words somewhat failed to describe how I feel about my discovery, but there was definitely some genetic altercation.
In what manner?
I'm going to shoot eyes over at Connor when I hear genetic.
It appears that the hemoglobin had actually been removed from the blood, stripping it from any value it would have had.
Interesting. Very interesting. If I'm able to acquire the name of this individual whom gave the blood, I would be very interested in having a full workup done on them if they were to be persuaded to have a full medical examination.
My seneschal,
Well-
may I ask an alternative, if I may interject?
His head turns ever so slightly. You may.
As acting Viceroy of Nim, I have come across many rather odd studies in my time. While this is not entirely the same as one I have come across, it mirrors closely one I saw a few years ago.
Go ahead.
If you would require any information on that ulterior process, as Viceroy of Nim, I would happily trade secret for secret, as it were. Although, in effect, I believe I owe you enough at this point that I could give them free of charge.
I'd be very interested to read this study or this report, if you can have it sent to me.
I shall do, my seneschal. Please, continue with the good doctor.
But yes, I will persuade this individual to come in for a medical examination, Doctor. One that you will, with your expertise, provide.
I can certainly do that.
Excellent. This examination may be an autopsy, but then again, I don't sense that you're squeamish.
Certainly not.
Wonderful.
In my field, I've seen some harrowing sights.
Very good. In that case, gentlemen, I shall bid you good evening. For the record, if those of you are inclined, the bar is free whenever we are using this space. Feel free to drink your like. Also, well, the blood doles are here for your amusement, but we've already had issues with people overfeeding, so please be mindful. Good evening. He will turn and he will simply vanish on the spot. I don't think any of you have all specs to see through his obvious case. So just
Probably not.
pop gum.
So where was your doctorate from, Cornelius? What titles do you hold?
Oh, I actually went... You've, you've actually totally caught me off guard there.
It's completely fine, Doctor. I understand that not all of us actually have our credibilities.
You know it's rude to ask people to talk shop, especially in public now.
But I like to flex, Ryan. Regardless, there are things we have to do.
I have much experience.
Just out of interest, you're not gonna let the Giovanni eat me, are you?
To whom you are addressing this question?
I mean, Connor looks like he may sell me out, and I know you'd get a kick out of it, Ryan, because having me as a wraith would just turn you on in all sorts of ways.
No. Oh God. The concept of your being hunting me for all eternity would probably drive me to something worse than Gouldom.
Understandable. Anyway, who is this dude, person, thing? You smell funny.
This person is a, shall I say, a clanmate, perhaps?
I would call us distant cousins.
Yeah.
Oh, I always liked playing the Eladrin in Dungeons and Dragons.
Well, sir, you find me at a loss. Actually, I'm a new arrival. I just arrived in Dublin. I come from Athens, Greece.
Oh, a panoptimal. How intriguing. I am Dr. Relius Dougal, Viceroy of Nim, the HSE Dublin's Nabob. I have many titles.
A pleasure, sir. I'm afraid I lack any.
That is a
And
distinct shame.
And I'm Dr. Cornelius Fletcher. I actually have a job.
I have heard of recent that the necropoli in Greece is a sight to see.
Have you ever had the pleasure of visiting?
No, I have not.
See, look at them talking shop. This is why you don't gather necromancers in the same room. I believe we have a job to do, and to be perfectly honest, I can't hold up this Malkavian persona for too long. Shall we?
What job do you speak of?
I mean, I believe we're supposed to be meeting this holdings company, are we not? I have ears, I can hear.
Yes, but at what time the appointment is?
Did no one fail to garner what time this appointment was?
I know when the appointment is, God damn it. I just look, regardless, we have some time to talk, and I'm more than happy. Knowledge is after all its own reward.
Well, here's some knowledge for you, Ryan. I was visited by clanmates of our good friend, the Black Spiral Werewolf Killer Slayer Dancer.
Oh. Yes, and it would appear our friend, Bound of the Earth, if you understand my meaning, tried to visit me again recently and decided it would be a wonderful time to set my house a new color, specifically red, orange, and yellow.
Wow, those must have been some amazing fireworks. I didn't know the Earthbound understood fucking Independence Day. I mean, a bit weird to cast it in Dublin, but still.
I do find it rather ironic that he would burn down the house of a Louisianan, but here we are.
So, my weird, not Maegar, but sort of Maegar-ish friend, what do you do in your spare time? And he'll sort of cock his head, looking at you like a confused puppy.
I'm quite embarrassed to say I've been running. For the last 2 years, I've been on the run, yes. I have fled my home. And
Wow.
Dublin
I
has
thought
been
Forrest
my
Gump.
latest.
I thought Forrest Gump ran a lot.
I wish it weren't the case.
It's my understanding that there's a certain level of animosity between the Giovanni and those Kieseed who are brave enough, might I say, to study the arts of necromancy.
Well, let me say, my sire, quite an elder, was yablerized because of this. And me, having not even the smallest fraction of his chances to survive, have been running from that place ever since.
Well, how many friends do you have? Surely some of them must have helped you.
For the record, kids, at this point, the door to the bar will open again, and a new figure will enter, one who I don't believe anyone here has met. There you go. Sans the blood dripping from the face, obviously.
He looks like a person I would. Sorry.
He looks like someone I identify with.
I was gonna say he looks like someone I'd let babysit my kids.
So this figure will walk into the room. He is in fact wearing a priest's cassock, and the what you call it? So and there's a golden crucifix that hangs about his neck, but he will close the door very politely, and he's doing his best not to make a fuss of the fact that he's entered. So he'll attempt to skirt around your conversation as opposed to getting involved in it because he wouldn't want to be rude. Skirt.
But would we notice him is the question.
Oh yes, absolutely. He's not making an attempt to hide himself. He's just being very polite.
Ryan, I don't know if you were touched as a kid, but I got an issue here. There's a Catholic priest.
Father, I could not help but notice that you happen to be within a bar. It's such a late time of night.
He turns very slowly, and his eyebrow goes up at Relius, and he says, "Is that some kind of insinuation?"
I mean, I never said my comedy was an insinuation. I mean, if words led to actions, we would be in an utter pickle. Please carry on.
Connor is just going to quickly lean over to Ryan and be like, I don't want to cause an issue, but I don't get along very well with men of the cloth, so I think I'm going to shimmy myself over to the other side of the room.
By all means, shimmy as you wish.
The priest will kind of regard Relius for a moment before he will shrug. He will then extend his hand and he will say, "Buongiorno, good evening. It is a pleasure to make your acquaintance. I don't believe that we've met."
Buongiorno.
Guten Tag.
Buongiorno, monsieur.
I mean, I'll take. Like I say, I'll take his hand if he's extending it. If no one else will.
From the other side of the room, you just say hi.
He extended his hand to you first, Relius, so by all means.
Oh, yeah, that's fine. I'll like grab it and give it an incredibly enthusiastic like handshake, like, oh Lordy, and never speak again.
When you do that, you can tell, and I always say this, you can tell there's quite a lot of potence there that he's not using. So it's
lovely.
You get the very distinct impression that if the handshake could be a lot more unpleasant if you wanted it to be.
Okay.
But he will then smile and he will turn to Ryan and he'll extend his hand and he'll say, "A pleasure to meet you, sir."
Ryan shakes his hand, but with a modicum of uncomfortableness.
"My apologies. I didn't mean to offend you in the offering of civilities."
Not a problem. After all, what are we without our manners? Fortunately, I have, what's the word? A dislike for physical contact of any sorts.
"I shall remember that. I would not wish to make you feel uncomfortable."
Thank you.
He will then turn and he will extend his hand to Deimos.
Deimos will offer his hand. "Buongiorno, signor. My name is Deimos, and I come from Athens, Greece."
He will switch to Greek. Obviously, Evan does not know Greek. This character, however, does. And he will say, "It is a pleasure to see one from so very far away. I haven't been to Greece in some time, but it is a beautiful country."
"And a pleasure to hear one's language in such a foreign place. Well met, sir."
He will then turn and he'll switch back to English. "Where are my manners? Allow me to introduce myself. Father Martin de Prince. A pleasure to make your acquaintances, gentlemen."
Dr. Elias de Gaulle, a pleasure indeed.
"Of clan?"
I mean, I try and make it as obvious as I can, but I'll admit I play the game very well. Malkavian.
"That explains so much."
Yes,
I know.
the fact that you have a taco in your beard.
Just gonna eat the bit of beef in my beard.
The bit of beef in the beard. He will turn and he'll say, "I and you, gentlemen, where's that your blood is called from?"
Well, I suppose you could technically say it's Clan Toreador if we're talking blood descendants, but I suppose I would also be known as a Magar.
"Fascinating. I knew one of your kind when I was living in Constantinople, when it was still Constantinople.
Why did it get the works, though?
I don't know. That's nobody's business, I believe, but the Turks.
Certainly.
Throughout the Madness Network, I will send a message saying Deus Vult.
Yeah.
If you wish.
Excuse me, out of character.
Mm-hmm.
My character has a great memory, so could you repeat the person's name and if he mentioned a bloodline or a clan?
He didn't. His name is Father Martin de Brins.
Mm-hmm.
He has potent, so he's probably, and he's connected to the Catholic Church. Just saying.
Yeah.
He will, if you can ask him what bloodline. He's asked you, gentlemen, so not be at all impolite.
I was literally about to say, and so, from what blood does such a clergyman's flow?
I'm a member of Clan La Sombra, or to be politically correct, La Sombra Antitribu.
Call it.
Oh, my. Interesting. There are many questions I have for someone like you. I'll shut up now.
Well, sir, I could say we are offsprings of the great La Sombra. I am a member of the Kiasid, and forgive me if I'm asking too much, but you mentioned Constantinople and before the fall.
Yes.
And I notice you're a Catholic, sir. Would that mean you come from the line of Alfonso?
Correct. You have a very excellent, I would say eye or memory, but perhaps both.
Well, history is one of my fascinations, and from the perspective of our kind, there's so much more to learn. So, sir, if you would ever be willing to talk of those years, I would be more than happy to owe you a boon.
I am more than happy to speak. Boons are not needed to be owed, but yes, I was a member of said court, and I left Constantinople after the fall of Patriarch Michael, and I've wandered very far ever since. For the record, if anyone wants to roll intelligence, kindred lore, they totally can.
It's almost as if it's a veritable
I'll roll it.
family gathering, as it were.
I will.
I'm
Excuse
going
me,
to- I'm
is
going-
that K-Knight lore?
Intelligence, kindred lore.
K-Knight
I'm
lore
going
is
to assume
different?
that option is not.
Oh, baby, that's spicy.
Sorry, what did you say? Sorry, I was being asked a question.
Just one clarification. Is kindred lore different from K-Knight lore?
Oh, if I wrote K-Knight lore on your sheet, I fucked that up. It's kindred lore.
All right.
Feel free to alter that. So sometimes I write little funny things on sheets that are just not homogenous because Evan's brain is in another place when he writes them.
No, I wrote it, but I looked up the breakdown of the lore, so I think my mistake.
Oh no, it's all good. It's all cool.
All right.
I will assume that the choice doesn't extend to me since
Oh,
I
yeah, no, I mean,
got out.
have you scuttled so far away that you are out of earshot of a casual conversation?
I'm close enough that I can uncomfortably stare at him.
Yes. You with your beacon of the unholy.
Evan, I would imagine that he's triggered.
A little bit. Hashtag beacon of the unholy.
Yeah.
God,
So, standard difficulty?
God damn.
Yeah, standard difficulty.
No successes?
Oh well. So for those of you who succeeded, he's referenced a pretty interesting chap in Kindred Society. So there was an individual. He was utterly convinced that he was the Archangel Michael. So he called himself Michael. He was the Patriarch of Constantinople, the Prince of Constantinople, basically.
Yeah.
He was a Toreador Methuselah, who was ridiculously powerful back in the day. He died in the year 1204 during the burning of the Hagia Sophia. So this guy said that he was in Constantinople at that particular time, which may give you an indication how old he is.
So, I'm just trying to spitball here because I've actually read the Dark Ages books. Is he basically saying he was one of the La Sombra that was? Were they in a cult of? They were in a cult of a god. Was it? I want to say Aphrodite or Hephaestus or someone.
No, they are basically. He's saying that. He's saying he's a very old December, but he is saying that he is. I don't know about that cult. Sorry, you kind of caught me on something I don't know.
Oh,
So,
I do like to read a lot of the settings books. I'm sorry.
nah, it's all good. I'm always happy to learn new things, but no, he's not saying he is a member of a cult. But
Okay.
he will look at Deimos and he will say, "It is always a pleasure to meet a member of Marconius's blood."
A pleasure, sir, to meet someone who witnessed such pivotal moments in history, like the Fourth Crusade.
Oh,
I got a botch on that vampire lore check.
an emperor must die with his
This,
empire.
this guy's clearly only about 30 years old. It's fine. You can insult him. Fuck that.
I'm going to assume that I'm on the other side of the room. I just hear this, but I'm so angry that I just burst a blood vessel.
But he'll say,
It is, after all, important for an emperor to die with his empire.
yes, unfortunate. We had dreams in those days of the creation of a utopia, an Eden on Earth, but then again, it's very easy for dreams to sometimes slip into madness and fallacy.
Yes. Tell me, as a Lasambra of your age, how's the void looking this time of the year?
Kind of raises an eyebrow, and he will say, "It is as it always is, silent."
Yes, good.
Yeah, was that a really low-key way of asking, does he have abyss mysticism?
Yeah. Low key, I guess.
Okay, fuck it. That was just a way of asking, does he have abyss mysticism? Fine, cool, that'll do. But he will say, "Needless to say, gentlemen, I've come in here for an evening's aperitif before I'm due to make my..." He contemplates the next words quite carefully. "The court has asked a small service of me, so I am here to perform that service."
Best of luck, then. Pleasure to meet you. Ryan, by the way. I didn't give my name.
Ah, Ryan, it is very nice to meet you. I would shake your hand again, but you understand.
Me grazie.
Prego.
Find it intriguing you don't wish to share what this task is.
I find it intriguing that he contemplates and he says, "Interesting. Are you always so forward?"
I believe Malkavians are expected to be forward, and so it makes sense that this persona would be so.
If that is what your opinion is upon your own clan, then who am I to fault you in the matter?
I mean, I gave up with the pranks and things years ago, but people seem to expect it of me, so I kind of have to work them into it.
Yes. Well, my apologies. It has been a pleasure meeting you all. Mr. He looks at Damus because you didn't actually give him your name.
Oh, I did.
Oh, you did. My apologies. He'll say, "Mr. Damus, I would be more than happy to speak to you at another point in time about matters of history if you are indeed interested."
Much obliged, sir. I will take you up on that offer with great pleasure.
I know stuff about history too.
Yes, whatever you say, dear. If he will look, he will look. He looks Relius up and down in the same way as you would look a child who is clearly special. Before he will stride through the other door out. Basically, there's the door that leads into the bar, and there's another door that leads outside in the outside to a smoking area, and he will stride through out into the smoking area.
Okay. Oh, I roughly get the layout of what you mean now. Okay.
And I immediately return to the group.
So what's the matter with you? Such a pansy, can't be around a clergyman.
We don't get along.
What are you on about? The Bruja have never had any major issue with the church.
I prod Relius. You are rather forward with the questions today, aren't you?
I just want to know a lot of things, okay? Not a lot of stuff is adding up and I'm confused.
Yes, I did find it rather funny. I had noticed a marked lack of combatic skill from you. Perhaps it's your occupation that means that you are unable to perform in such instances. For example, in the church, or recently at that Pixies metal Pixies event. The name escapes me. I was only really there for other reasons.
I try to avoid those situations. My embrace wasn't exactly pleasant, and I don't get on very well with my home clan.
And then there's the Kierseed over there, who we all know his idea of a good fight is throwing books.
Oh, yeah, but that would damage the books.
Well, would that be a possibility tonight? I'm not looking for one.
I have this copy of Catcher in the Rye if you want.
I was referring to fights. Are you looking to get into one?
Yeah, I'm saying I'm offering you ammunition. I have a copy of Catcher in the Rye if you want it. It's very thick. It would do at least 6 aggravated damage, breaking the 4th wall.
Sirs, if it ever comes to that, I would be of greater use if I joined our opponents.
Very probably. But regardless, who was that guy then? And what kind of need would the court have of a guy that old?
I don't know, but I don't like him.
I understand that you don't like him. You were positively repulsed by his presence.
You must have been touched a lot as a kid.
Oh, you are charming, Relius.
I tried.
I don't think I'll honor that question with an answer.
I mean, your refusal to honor the question is in itself an answer.
Silence is its own admittance.
As you will.
Oh.
Local man goads entire vampire population.
Something like that. So, Deimos, what other things do you actually do aside from your bookstore? You have a keen interest in the Wraiths, much like my friend here, and I guess, is there anything more to you, or are you just a carbon copy of Ryan Famo himself? Well, a defective copy, should I say.
Internally screaming.
I think it would be an honor to call myself that. What are you looking for? Is there something that I could offer my aid? Perhaps if you explain the situation, I could give you a specific response.
I am looking for a way to repel werewolves from letting themselves into my house without my permission.
I am sure both me and Ryan could do something about it.
Oh, it would be glorious. I have a Tremere coming to assess the situation, but I've not much faith in them.
Yes, blood magic is rather versatile, but if somewhat, what's the word, unspecific, if I might say so.
Well, I'm very fortunate to have never met one of these, but from my understanding, intelligence is not their strong suit, is it?
Well, the collection of knowledge is something they all desire, whether it's they want to or not. Blood bonds have a tendency to do such a thing to a man.
I wasn't talking about the Tremere, but the werewolves?
The werewolves. My train of thought was not exactly on point there. Perhaps
yes, the station left and poor Ryan had lost his ticket. What a shame.
I was just thinking, perhaps you could bind a haunt to the place. One that's positively inclined to you, of course.
That would be
I
nice.
could describe a word, something that would make them even less sharp.
The bigger issue is they seem to enjoy my rapport, hence how my throat is remaining intact right now. They seem to regard honor above a lot of things, and it makes it weird and uncomfortable.
Is that insinuating that you are entirely without honor in that case?
I did not see much honor in two demons. By the way, lovely coat. I did not see much honor. I did not see much honor in two demons, three vampires, and whatever the thing that was trying to motion its hands behind me, killing it. I did not see much honor in that, but they appear to find it an honorable kill, and thus, admittedly, I had to bequeath them the odd whip that I had taken as a trophy, and they seem to enjoy my rapport.
Of course, you're omitting the information where it dived down into a crowd of innocent civilians and proceeded to bring balefire upon their unfortunate spirits.
I'm not omitting it. I'm saying the way we had slain it was not very honorable.
Excuse me. For the record, this woman has entered. Many of you know her. Deimos doesn't. She will pick her way to the bar. She will buy basically a bottle of vodka. She will.
I don't know her.
Okay. She will pour a single shot from the bottle of vodka into a shot glass. She will pound it back. She will then turn and she will say, "I'm led to understand that one of you needs me to put protection on their house."
Oh, hello, darling.
If he calls me darling again, I kill him right here on the spot.
I would not object, but I prefer if you did it somewhere else that his spirit doesn't bother me in the afterlife.
Good. Oh.
No need to be so offended. Your ensemble is practically magnificent, but yes, I have a werewolf problem. They smell and they keep letting themselves in.
And by keep, you mean that they've probably done it once.
Oh, you can read me like a book. Something I'm told your plan does well.
Yes, and it's a very bad porno mag, so can we continue on? Thank you.
All right, Hugh Hefner, calm down. Of course we can.
I'm doing this as Faye.
Okay.
No. She says, "I'm doing this as Faye," and then stops and looks at the kiosk. It's like, "I do this as Faye." Oh, that's a thing. Interesting.
Well, if you simply want to talk business and shop without the two LV people here being a distraction to you, what would you suggest?
You are not interesting anymore, little man. Shush. Huh. That's very My apologies. She extends her hand. She doesn't extend it to Ryan. She knows Ryan doesn't like shaking hands. Haha.
Such a gentress.
I know, right? It's good to. I've heard about you. You were the one who arrived on the passenger, or you're the one who arrived in the cargo container, da?
Da, gospoda. And Demetrius kisses her hand.
I like
My name is Deimos.
Old manners still have sway. My name is Catherine Kurditsov, Clan Tremere. It is very good to meet you.
The pleasure is all mine. And if you would not mind me too much, I think I could aid you a bit in what our friend asks.
I would be happy for that, but no, I have a proposal for you. As entity.
Please.
Actually, proposal for both you and Mr. Formeau. I am currently writing a piece for Clan Tremere as a general whole as to the nature of, well, what has been determined or is determinative as Fae or changeling entities. And if you two are willing to give me some information that I believe you two may possess, I will be more than happy to reciprocate with information on a number of topics that I possess.
After all, sharing knowledge is rather important.
She shrugs and she says, "Well, when you have been in Alistor for as long as I have been, you tend to accrue rather a lot of information."
You certainly do.
Would that be agreeable to both of you gentlemen?
Fellow scholar, this is a very fortunate evening.
Yes, I was told by the seneschal that I am to. You are living in one of his buildings, da?
He was very kind to offer one, yes.
I am to place protections on that building in order to make sure that you are not what would the correct phrase be? Bothered by outside spirits of people who might want to find you.
Well, you have my gratitude if you do so. Please, you're very welcome.
He has been very generous to me, so I do not mind doing him small service. On a side note, she looks at Relius and she says, "Where do you live? Give me the address."
Yeah, I'll just like jot it down on paper and not speak another fucking word.
She is just literally she has the attitude of I don't take shit from nobody, which I just think is funny. But she will look down at the handwriting, which knowing Relius is very very fancy and very loopy. So she
Yeah.
will have a very small sigh, like, I will come tomorrow evening. I will require you to have exactly 3 chickens, preferably alive.
I'll just shoot finger guns, but still not say a word.
I love how I was like low-key slacking off the message as she walked in.
Yep. But it's a pleasure to meet you both, Demos. It's a pleasure to meet you, Demos, and good to see both of you again, Mr. Fermo and Dr. Fletcher.
A pleasure.
Well,
I'm glad to see that you're in good health.
Keep trying to kill me and people keep failing. It's fine.
Oh my god.
What's the matter with you?
No, I'm just thinking about the concept of Liam's character being in the same room as this person. Like... Oh, it's good.
It's all fine. He's not dead. No, I did love that. If you call me darling again, I'll kill you where you stand.
Local man uses self-control.
Right. In that case, she'll just pick up the bottle of vodka and just walk out with it.
What a woman!
I will turn to
Relius, can I
Relius.
give you some advice?
Please.
Sure.
Sorry, what were you saying? 1 second.
Talk
Sorry.
less. Oops, sorry.
What do you mean? Me talking annoys her, and her annoyed wants to
talk
destroy
less.
me. Any girl who wants to destroy you is worth your time.
Just smile and wave.
All right,
It'll
calm
get
down,
you far.
Kowalski.
Gavalski.
Anyway, I'm getting bored of making jokes. Now all things are considered. What is our
Gentlemen?
actual game plan? Yes, Deimos, what is the game plan?
Well, I was about to say it was a pleasure. I need to take care of some issues as a new arrival, but about my offer, if you would like me to show me where you are, because if I place my word just anywhere, I think it would be damaging even for you. Would you like us to take care of this now?
I will let the Tremere have her chance. I trust in the lady's abilities. She seems capable.
As you wish.
Demos, might I inquire, have you the capacity to bind wraiths, as it were, to a specific object or place?
I'm afraid not, my friend. Do you?
Not at the moment, but I'm always happy to learn.
Well, I could speak to you about what my studies are, and we could exchange notes.
I would be happy to do such a thing. Perhaps there's a few rituals you might want access to in exchange for perhaps other tutoring. It would be certainly interesting. After all, I'm sure that you'll need further knowledge, and so will I.
Well, to put it briefly, my studies are about interacting with the other side.
Oh, I believe we are of the same mind then. Yes, I found this path to be most useful.
Well, I'm a student of the Path of Ash.
Yes, I have delved quite deeply into that one in particular.
Well, I wouldn't use the word deeply for me.
All right, kids.
So-
Because Ed has to go and get food very shortly, I'm going to call this scene here. For the record, other people should totally get the ability to host these, so Evan doesn't have to. All right. Thank you, players, for playing. Thank you, watchers, for watching. I will talk to you about possible things after this scene, after I push the button.